everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the supernatural Gothic anime Black Butler.
Set in Victorian England, Black Butler follows 14-year-old Ciel Phantomhive, the last surviving member of an aristocratic family, as he sells his soul to his demon butler in exchange for the ability to take revenge on his parents' murderers. This is
Batman.
The darkest anime we have watched so far. And it was so unlike anything we would watch. We originally started watching the first episode and we were like, and we stopped. And then we saw more information online. It got really great reviews. How the arcs are really interesting. How long the series went on and all the offshoot movies, including live action. Mm-hmm. And then when I realized, you already knew, but when I realized it was J. Michael Tatum doing the voice, and it was similar to Kiyoya, and I was like, oh yeah, let's watch it again. And then that was it, and we found out you really get into this really dark anime.
Right. And definitely gotta warn for ones who are not into like gory or darker anime, but I'm gonna hold on this. One, if it's not your thing, or two, if you're fairly new to anime, because this might be like too much at once if you're not used to this or it's not something you're into.
They even cover Jack the Ripper, for example, in one episode, actually a couple episodes, to give an example of what we mean by dark and gory. Right. So if you are faint of heart, or if you really like gag anime or just fun anime, this is not for you. Right. But for those of you that are into this type of anime or like to have to watch a various types of anime, then this would be one you should take a look at.
Right. And it's funny in a way because even with all this, it's a dark fantasy thriller. That's what the genre is. And then you get to the show, and then they'll just have the most bat crazy things happening ever.
There's so much humor in here, dark humor, but humor nevertheless. And remember, he's one hell of a butler.
There's even one whole OVA they have where you know it's not canon, so they just go nuts. Where all the characters, like, some of them don't even know each other, but somehow they all end up in the same house, and they got to put on this play of Hamlet or something, and they're all playing the roles of the characters, and there's this whole goofy episode where they're all playing the characters and they're preparing, and Ciel doesn't know how to act and he's horrible at his lines, and they do the play and all the kids are confused by everything that's going on. It's just a riot. Like, how do you go from Jack the Ripper storyline and you got supernatural and demon stuff, and then you get to this laughing stock?
But it was great. It was terrific. It was perfect. They did it wonderfully, and it worked. And knowing that it's OVA, you know, as you said, it doesn't follow the original storyline. Right. But this story is really interesting because you've got the butler, Sebastian McAllis, and
I kept calling him Michaels all this time.
It looks like McAllis and maybe Michaels, but looking at the way it's spelled, I don't think it's Michaels. I could be wrong. Correct me, guys, if you want. But I think it's McAllis. And he has red eyes all the time. And you find out later that the human form he takes, which is very attractive and is meant to be attractive to the women and the men, and
everybody, I guess. Yeah, I guess appealing to everybody.
His true form toward the end of the season. And the way that the story ends, you think it's over. And then when we found out, wait, this is season 2? How is there a season 2? How it ended in season 1, how can there be season 2? And you find out you got faked out. But I'm really glad there's a season 2 because you get to see how they take and expound upon this story with another arc, but they still include the two main characters, Ciel and Sebastian, from this one. Well, Sebastian saves Ciel no matter what happens, no matter who tries to kill him, no matter what accident he gets in, no matter what happens, he's there and he comes to the rescue in the nick of time, doing incredible acrobatic moves and popping up and just everyone going, you're not a regular butler, are you?
Right. And it's like, sometimes when you watch it and you know Ciel's backstory is once again something like Batman, like they have with Barnaby. All the rich people seem to have the same backstory in some of these anime. It seemed like maybe Sebastian was like a upgraded Alfred. Like, someone was a really big Alfred fan, and they decided to make him just go all out and make him just unstoppable force of nature.
And he also resembles his dad. When you see pictures of his dad and his mom, you know, maybe that's covered in season 2, but you look and you go, he looks like his dad. Or maybe that's the form that he takes, so he's more comfortable with him being his butler. I can't wait to find out more when we watch season 2. But this is a brilliant anime. I never thought I'd be saying this about this show. I never thought we would watch it, but it's absolutely brilliant and enjoyable.
And you also get to other cast members, like you see the rest of the staff for the mansion. There's only like 3 or 4 other people on staff.
And all of them have amazing backstories.
Yes,
every single one of them.
One episode is focused on all the backstories. And you kind of think you're gonna see Sebastian's too, but in the preview for it, it's like, oh, you want to know my backstory? You have to wait for that,
and you're still waiting.
Right
at the end of season 1.
So it's like, you're not gonna get his first, but
so yeah, you've got some other staff that helps.
Yeah, and there's like, I think there's like, one's a maid, one's a chef, one I believe is supposed to be the gardener, and then one's another butler.
Right.
And the funny thing is that the other butler is actually the smartest one out of all of them, the most sophisticated, and had been at the mansion the longest. But he used so much energy that he's always in this chibi form, and he's always drinking tea to gain energy, so he can only be in his normal state and be serious for like maybe 1 minute, and then he deflates like All Might, and he goes back to going like chibi form.
And you also got some incredible characters that come in toward the middle of the series, and they add depth to the arc that's going on, and each of them have their own incredible backstories. Everybody in here except for the sickos have amazing backstories. I mean, they're just like, wow, you don't expect this, and the writing is really great, and each backstory is interesting. So.
Right. And so you have there's Baldroy, who's the cook, and he's the one American in the whole show. I think that's hilarious. They always got one who's explosive.
Yeah,
Finian, who's, the gardener. And you find out he has all of this really incredible strength, and it's hilarious, and you're thinking, like, is this just like a running joke? He's super strong, but you find out how he got it. Right. You have Mayrin, who's the maid, and you think she's really timid, and you find out her real backstory, and then when she has on the glasses, she's completely different. So it's like a flip switch. She's a flip switch when she has it.
And you have Tanaka,
Butler. Right, and who's the longest worker there. And like I said, he was taking care of everything. He was very serious about his work, but when they took over, Sebastian was taking care of everything, he had to use that much energy, so he's kind of in this chibi state for a while, and just drinking tea because he's now just kind of relaxing unless he's really needed or something important. Then he'll immediately shrink back up to his normal form, and it's totally serious, and then when it's over, he goes back into that hilarious form.
It's also, as you mentioned, really reminds you of Supernatural, the TV series on CW, my favorite, as you know. You've got Reapers, you've got Angels, you've got all these supernatural characters that appear within it, and some of the good ones end up not being so good, and some of the bad ones end up not being so bad. And again, they're layered, very interesting characters. There's not a single character in here who you look at it and go, this character's boring, why did they put him in here? Right. Every single character is interesting.
Right.
And they've got a bevy of voice actors that are really standard to anime, so you can check them out online if you like.
Right.
But again, I'm sorry. J. Michael Tatum is the star of this show. He is brilliant as Sebastian. Yes. And Kiyoyo Otori in Oran. But he's brilliant as Sebastian. I mean, this guy has this way of capturing these characters, and they're all so different. Very, very different. And I remember when you first said, do you recognize the voice? And this was when we attempted the first time to watch it. I said, no, who is it? You said, it's Tenya. I said, that's not Tenya. You're like, it's Tenya. And then after we watched Oran High School Host Club, and I heard Kiyoyo Otori, which is my favorite voice that Tatum does. When we went back to Black Butler, then I was like, okay, now I can hear, yes, it is J. Michael Taylor. And then, of course, you knew, you were right, of course, but after that, it's a slightly different, more sinister version of Kiyoya.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, he nails it. He's just fantastic. So.
Yeah, and there's a lot that goes on in 24 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
24 episodes, a lot that
26.
goes... 26, thank
26
you.
episodes.
There's a lot that goes down in terms of story in the first arc, and that's around, Ciel's past, but also all of London, and dealing with the Queen, and you also have these new characters, like they have 2 characters from India. You have the Indian prince there, and they have this whole... curry cooking competition and stuff. So it's funny how they put all these different things into the story, whether plot related or not, but you're still engaged the whole time. You're not feeling like, why'd you do this?
And you also got another little arc where Ciel has already have an arranged marriage to a young lady, when we become adults.
Mm-hmm.
And at first you think he really doesn't care about her, but as the story goes on, you find out he really does care about her.
Right.
And she really does love him. They've known each other since they were really little.
Right, so it wasn't something like forced and they don't like it or anything, or it's one-sided.
And she even ends up in a few episodes of her own, one of them really, really dark. And not for kids.
Right.
But
I feel like they adapted another Batman villain, and when you watch, you know which one we're thinking about.
But this is a fantastic series that shouldn't be missed if you love this type of shows, and if you love J. Michael Tatum, you really got to hear him just do some of his greatest work in this series. And when we watch season 2 and season 3, we'll cover those as well. Can't wait to see the OVAs. Wait to see the 5 offshoot animated movies.
Yeah. I can think they only had one. I can think they only had one all this time.
They've had 5. That's the most I've ever heard a series having that many animated movies being made off of that series. Then they had the live action, as you know, as well. In
the live action, we saw like a few minutes of it. We definitely got to see the rest because it's almost like a whole different story. And perhaps because it was a child in the first one, so they didn't want to completely adapt that. So they kind of made it into the almost present day, and it has a grown woman instead of a child. So they kind of changed it, maybe because they weren't comfortable with that happening in live action, so they kind of altered it, which is what they did with Fullmetal Alchemist and other movies when they don't want that to be portrayed in live action. So we'll definitely be looking forward to watching the rest of that and seeing how it comes out. We're just a little concerned about the actor playing Sebastian. It just looks kind of off.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's like, are you sure that's Sebastian? Because he looks pretty different from the poster.
But maybe he does a great job at the character, and maybe the movie's really good. One day we'll find out.
Right.
So if you guys have ever heard of this series or watched it, let us know about in the comments.
Right. And shout out to Kristen Spalding, who definitely loves this series. And we finally watched some of it, and probably will be watching more by the time this goes up.
Yes, definitely.
So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace, and remember, he's simply one hell of a butler.
Flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of a locket.